Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Joppy Noodle Legs here again today. Today I'm going through another horror video. This is my top 10 favourite slasher films. It was a really difficult video to do because there were so many to do. In fact, I did one. I put the video out and I've taken it off because I've changed some of the films in it because I changed my mind since I've done it. So this is a little update on it. First of all, got some honourable mentions. They're pretty much the same. From Hell with Johnny Depp and Robbie Coltrane. This is obviously a slasher film about the Jack the Ripper. This is a really great film, and I think I will do a top 10 on sort of horror, sort of serial killer films at some point. And this will be in there because it's one of my favourite sort of serial killer films. That's From Hell, honourable mention. A more modern one, ATM. Now this is a really good film. It's about these three youngsters caught in like one of those ATMs, you know, the ones you can walk into, and they're sort of stuck in there, and there's like a killer stalking them on the outside. That's a really good film. Really enjoyed that. Classic 70s Black Christmas. I've spoken about it before. This is a typical sort of 1970s slasher film. It's one of these sort of films that started the whole sort of slasher sort of like popularity back in the 70s when it started to come through. So this came out before Halloween and Friday the 13th, and it is set in like a girl sort of dormitory, and they're being stalked by a killer in there. That's Black Christmas. Another classic, this is a Hammer film, Sherlock Holmes, Hounds of the Baskervilles, starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. This is a really good horror film. It is a horror film. I believe it's a slasher film because it's a killer film, and they're searching for the killer and who done it. It's one of my favourite Hammer films, and it is really great film. And I think it's the best version of Hounds of the Baskervilles. Peter Cushing plays a brilliant Sherlock Holmes. Really good film. Recommend you to watch it if you haven't watched it. One more honourable mention, Intruder. This is a 1980s video nasty that came out, and it's based in like a supermarket, and there's like a killer, and it's a Sam Raimi film, I believe. This is a really good film, really gory, but it's actually quite funny, and it's just a really cool film. I highly recommend to watch The Intruder. If you love sort of like gory slasher films, this is the one to watch. It was on the video nasty list. That's my honourable mention. So now we're going to go to the top 10. Haven't really changed this from the last video, but I just wanted to change that bit there for you. Number 10, Friday the 13th Part 4, The Final Cut. Awesome film. I really love it. It's just one of my favourite Friday the 13th films. I just think it was supposed to be the last one, but obviously because of popularity, they just went on and made like another 10, you know. So, but that was such a good film. There's some really good gore in it. I'm not sure if it's the one with Crispin Glover in it. It could well be, but he's hilarious in it if he's in that one. I'm sure he is. It's a really good film, Friday the 13th Part 4, The Final Cut. That's my number 10. Number 9 is Maniac Cop, starring Bruce Campbell. This is well, it's a typical sort of 80s slasher. It's not one of the most goriest, but it's just one of the, it's just a sort of classic, intriguing sort of tale. I think it was on the Video Nasty List 3 for a while, but I don't know why, but it was. I think Tom Atkins stars in this as well as the cop, and obviously Bruce Campbell is a cop that gets blamed for these murders, and it, you know, and you just need to follow the story. I don't want to give the plots away on these films, guys, because I want you to watch them. A classic slasher now, in at number 8, and that is Scream, obviously made in the 1990s by Wes Craven, starring Drew Barrymore and a whole star cast, Courtney Cox and David Arquette. Brilliant slasher film. It went on to spawn 4 sequels, or was it 5 now? Yeah, 5. I do like the new one. It sort of lost its way a little bit, and I sort of lost interest when they killed off one of my favourite characters, David Arquette, in that film. I think he was one of the highlights in the actual film. And when he sort of like when it sort of killed a little bit of the film for me, so I didn't enjoy it as much. But Scream is a classic, and it's in my top 10 favourite slashers, and that's in at number 8. Number 7 is a Brian De Palma film, Dressed to Kill. Excellent film starring Michael Caine. I highly recommend you seeing this one. It's a very, very slow film. It's this version that's available now on Arrow is the uncut version, because before this came out, the elevator scene, the murder in the film, was sort of really cut, but they've added it in now fully uncut. So it's definitely worth picking up. It is a really good story. It's, like I said, it's a very slow film. Michael Caine plays a psychiatrist in that, and it's another sort of whodunit. There's a young lad trying to find out who the killer is. Watch this film, Dressed to Kill. It's a really good thriller and slasher. Okay, number 6 is When a Stranger Calls. Classic slasher film. Classic premises for the story. Obviously, a babysitter getting these weird phone calls. Have you checked the children? Yeah, I think that was the original title before it got changed to When a Stranger Calls. This release is really cool because it has When a Stranger Called 2 on it. So it's got 2 movies on this release. Classic film. Really good watch. Very intense sort of film. Really love that one. Another 80s classic. These are mostly 80s. In at number 5. And that is Happy Birthday to Me. I do really like this film. It's a really good sort of like, it's another teenage American high school where all the kids are getting bumped off and you have to try and figure out who the killer is. It's got a really good ending to the film. Love the ending to the film, and there's some quite good kills in there. I'm not going to give the story away too much, but watch Happy Birthday to Me. This is a really good release actually from Indicator Films. Okay, next up, one of my favourites, and it's Pieces. I absolutely love this film. It's cheesy, it's gory, it's excellent. It's just such a cool film. Some classic bad acting, good normal sort of story, obviously based at a high school, and looking for a killer with a chainsaw. It's a great film. Please guys, check Pieces if you haven't watched it. Into my top 3. Number 3, Halloween. Oh, yes, I could include every one of them to be honest, but let's put Halloween, the first one, in there as the classic slasher film and one of my all-time favourites. This is such a good box set. It contains most of the films in this box set up to H2O, and then there's one missing, and then there's obviously you've got other ones that have come after, but I do have those as well. But this is a great film. Michael Myers, we all know he is. The film stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance. Great film. You've all seen Halloween, and you can see why it's in the top 10 slashers. Number 2, of course, it's my favourite video nasty, and that's The Burning. Cropsey, the caretaker that was pranked and burnt to survived and went back and killed all the kids at the camp. No different to Friday the 13th really, but except it's more gorier, and this one did hit the video nasty list number 1. Great film, The Burning. Okay, number 1, Friday the 13th Part 2. I'll have to go with that one because it's such a good film. It's an iconic film. It's the first one where you really get to see Jason in it, and again, Jason's mask doesn't appear in this one. That doesn't come into number 3, 3D, which was it was okay. It was a fun film, but not one of my favourites. But number 2, he had like a sack on his head as his mask, and it was the first of the really sort of Jason stalking around Camp Crystal Lake films. Really good film, quite gory. He's kind of following. You hear his mother talking to him, and sort of like egging him on to kill all the campers to revenge, obviously, his death and her death. And that spawned the sequels of Jason. So Jason was really born in number 2. So that's why that's my favourite one. There we are, guys. That's my favourite slasher movies. I could have gone on. The list is endless of slasher films. There's modern ones like It Follows. It's a great film, you know, and some of the older ones like Trick or Treat, Slaughter High, The Mutilator. I could go on and on and on about all these amazing films. But, I mean, maybe another day we could do a slasher film, 11 to 20, who knows. And so we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's end that video here today. Again, please go and check out Horror Hands and check out the Horror Geek if you get a chance. Please, they make great horror videos. A lot better than my ones, but guys, you know what to expect when you watch my videos. They're pretty, you know, I waffle a lot. But guys, until next time, look after yourselves, and I really hope I see you all soon.